there BookTube, it's Eleanor here, and today I'm doing a book haul. I've got quite a few books here. Some I've bought myself, some have very kindly been sent. The first group of books I want to talk about were very kindly sent to me by Vintage. Vintage this year are doing a challenge to listen, hear and respond to some of the greatest female writers history has to offer. From Margaret Atwood to Mary Wollstonecraft, revisit your favourites, discover new voices and fill your bookshelf and your year with women's voices. They matter. They've got a Facebook group which is Vintage Women Book Club, and they're running this book club throughout the year. Each month has a selection of books on it, so you can go there if you want to check out. And they very kindly offered me any of the books that I wanted and to get involved. I haven't got Facebook. I'm like the only person in the world that doesn't have Facebook, and I really am not wanting to get it if I can help it. So I am not going to be doing the Facebook group, although I'm tempted. I'm not going to, but I have got some of the books off this list which I will be reading throughout the year and discussing on this channel. The first one is Gigi and the Cat, and actually I was very lucky that one of you recommended that this would be a really great book to read for one of my challenges, for the Reading Women challenge that I'm doing, so I will be talking about that at some point through there. This is about Gigi. Her days are filled with cigars, lobster, lace and superstitions, the education of a future courtesan. Bored and unconvinced by what she's taught, Gigi surprises all with her approach to love. In this classic turn-of-the-century novella, Colette unveils Gigi's journey into womanhood in rich and supple prose. So I just think this sounds like it's going to be a really good read. Another book that I've been wanting to read to ages, which is on their reading list for this year, is Herland. This is also a vintage classic by Charlotte Perkins Gilman, and one that I've been wanting to read for quite a while. This is exploring some American men. They discover a group of women in the Amazon that are living just as women and decide that obviously, you know, how could they possibly live just women together? There must be men involved. And what happens, I think, when they try to integrate men into this all-female society. One of the books that doesn't come out until May this year, and I was very lucky that they sent me a proof copy, is What Red Was by Rosie Price. This is obviously a proof copy, so you can't see here exactly what it looks like. It says, through their 4 years at university, Kate and Max are inseparable. For him, she breaks her solitude. For her, he leaves his busy circles behind. But loving Max means knowing his family, the wealthy rip-ons, all generosity, social ease and quiet repression. Theirs is not Kate's world. At their London home, just after graduation, her life is shattered apart in a bedroom while a party goes on downstairs. What Red Was explores the effects of trauma on mind and body, the tyrannies of memory, the sacrifices involved in staying silent, the courage of a young woman in speaking out, and when Kate does, this question, whose story is it now? I just think this sounds like it's going to be a real hard hitter. So that comes out on the 9th of May, and I shall be reading it and letting you know my thoughts nearer the time. So that is the books that I was very kindly sent by them. And then I've been sent this book by Hodder and Stoughton, which sounds interesting, and the title just makes me think of The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. This is called The 7 or 8 Deaths of Stella Fortuna, and it's by Juliet Grams. So the blurb on this says, born into rural poverty in a Calabrian village in the early 20th century, Maria Stella Fortuna, known as Stella, grows up inseparable from her sister Tina. Tough, vivacious and fiercely loyal, they support each other through immigration, marriage, children, loss and the 7 or 8 near-death experiences Stella suffers throughout her life. But after Stella woke up from the accident, an 8th brush with death, it was Tina who she refused to speak to. Now the sisters have not spoken in 30 years. Can a family historian connect the inexplicable dots in Stella's dramatic story and redeem a battle-scarred and misunderstood woman who has lived her life with a fire inside her which could not be put out? I just think that sounds brilliant. This book, as I say, was sent to me by the publisher and also comes out in May. So if that sounds like one you might be interested in, then this comes out in May and I shall be reading this and letting you know my thoughts as well. Then the lovely Janet sent me for my February book, Wink Poppy Midnight, which is by April Genevieve Tulcholk, which I'm really excited to have because I heard about it a few years ago now on BookTube and everyone was talking about it, and then I never got the chance to read it, and it just sounds fascinating. It's about two girls. I mean, this is just like two girls, one boy, one summer, one bad thing. What really happened? Someone knows, someone is lying. So this is going to explore, I'm assuming, that sort of dynamic between three children and maybe a love triangle. I don't know, but I just can't wait. Then I went to the book warehouse near me, which, if you've heard me talk a few times about, it's on once a month. I think they're a warehouse for return books from bookshops, I'm not sure, but once a month they open their doors for the weekend. You pay £2 for a whole year subscription and you can go along, and all of the books that are on their shelves, and it is huge, are 70 to 80% off, which is just phenomenal. So I picked up two books while I was there. The first one is a fantasy book that's been on my radar, and I think the sequel has now come out, and that is Everless by Sarah Holland. I recently saw Reagan, I think it is, from Peruse Project, talking about the sequel to this, and she described that this first book and this sort of idea of this world is that it's all to do with time and how sort of the rich people can manage to extend time and yet the poor people can't, and there's this idea of class and status, and I just think it sounds like it's going to be interesting. I like the idea and the concept. Reagan, I think, really enjoys it, so I'm hoping that it'll be one that I enjoy too. And the other one that I picked up there was one I hadn't heard of, but if I'm totally honest, the cover drew me in. I like a bright cover, and that's called The Arrangement by Sonia Lally, and this just sounded like a really interesting idea. It's about a woman. She's approaching her 30s, and you know, her family want her to tie the knot, but she has got a whole community waiting for someone to make her a wife, and a loving grandmother nanny ready to play matchmaker with a comprehensive list of potential husbands. It says, eager not to disappoint her family, Raina goes along with the plan, but when the love of her life returns, ex-boyfriend Dev, she's forced to confront her true feelings. Now her clock is ticking, it's time for Raina to decide what she actually wants. Will Raina let her family decide her future, or can she forge a new path? So I think this is sort of a modern take on the idea of arranged marriage, and yeah, its own voices. I think it's going to be really interesting. And then the last book that I picked up for myself, it was on a whim. I just think it sounds really good. It's called Sea Monsters by Chloe Aridgis. This was really pushed to me by the woman in the bookshop. She said she thought I'd really enjoy it, so I'm giving it a go. It's about a 17-year-old girl who one day just doesn't come home, and I think she's Mexican. She lives in Mexico. She boards this bus and heads off with this boy that she hardly knows, and this is following what happens. It's quite a short book, but I've heard amazing things, so I'm going to give it a go. So those are all the books that I've bought recently. If we are totting up the money that I have spent 2, 4, 13, 40, 50, 17 pounds this month, which leaves me, hold on, maths on my fingers, 27, 37, 47, 33 pounds to put in my jar. So I will be putting 33 pounds in my jar. So I did spend some money when I went to Janet's for the weekend recently, but they were all on gift cards in the majority, and I'm allowing myself that one because I can do that because I'm an adult. So I'm going to be putting £30 in the jar, making it a nice round number. So I'm going to put £30 in my jar this month, which is all going to go towards something exciting at some point. Yeah, have you read any of these? Do any of these excite you? Let me know, as always, in the comments down below. Let's chat. Let me know what you think of my new backdrop. I've got a new room set up here, which I will give you a spin now if I can. Hold on. Okay, so this is as if you go into the room. I've got my nice And They Lived Happily Ever After. This is now my shelf of series. As you can see, I just couldn't fit those ones, and I've got graphic novels at the bottom. That's where I do any work. This is my 5-star read shelf and all my graphic novels. Spinning round, I've got my sofa, and I've tried to make it a bit more cozy in here. I've got a nice coffee table and my reading trolley, etc. And then, oh, All my books now fit on one set of shelves, A to Z, so much easier to find. That's where I'm filming. I'm just so pleased with this room. I've even got myself some colour changing LED lights on the top of my bookcase, which I am absolutely loving. So that is the new book room. Yeah, I'm going to go and slot these books on the shelves so I don't double stack, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye for now, BookTube.